Oh, it's the Great Northern Sexcast. How are you, Colleen?
I'm doing damn good.
Yeah, it's been kind of beautiful lately.
It's been, there's been all these weird, isolated storms. It'd be like, I'm in the office just a few days ago, and it's perfectly sunny, it's lovely, and then like a nanosecond later, it's darker than hell out, the winds are howling, the skies are opening, and I'm like, what the hell?
I love
and
that,
then
though.
Then I look on like my phone, you look on your phone, because most folks have a weather app now, and there's this tiny little red dot right over me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's not like a big green monster that's attacking us from the Dakotas.
No, those are wicked.
Yeah. But I was just like, where the fuck is the storm? And it's like right on top of it. Like you go outside and like, oh, there's the sun over there. There's been some amazing rainbows this summer, though.
Oh, yeah.
Just the way that this has been happening.
Well, and how many times have you been in the car driving and it's been sunny and raining at the same time?
Oh, yeah.
It's been a lot this year. But I got to say, being a West Coast, Southern California born and raised girl, I love the weather variations. It's entertaining to me because, 72 and sunny is fine, but it gets fucking boring after a while. I mean, I'm not kidding you. If that's all you know and it's 80 degrees on Christmas, not fun.
Yeah. See, I was born in Kentucky, but left, when I was just a baby. There was some Ohio and some Missouri in there, but for the most part, I've grown up in Minnesota.
Right.
So I only know like 4 seasons, although lately I'm not sure where the hell spring is.
Yeah.
But for the most part, and it's just sort of weird. So when I go other places where there's like less water, like, the Southwest, it's just too brown and it makes me sort of twitchy. I mean, I'm so used to it.
The green.
The green.
Oh, it's so nice. Mm-hmm. It is. It's funny. My Midwest anniversary is coming up on Labor Day weekend. I left California 25 years ago this Labor Day weekend. Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
I mean, and I can tell that it is glorious weather because we are selling so many wedding novelties, lingerie. Actually, we're selling everything. A couple weeks ago, we sold 3 $450 massive torso masturbators in just like 2 days.
That's awesome.
So I know that, spring is sort of, weird in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. So fall is when the weddings are, which means summer and fall is when the bachelorette parties are and all that sort of stuff. And then there's, there's weddings and other stuff. So there's anniversaries. So, I mean, I'm going through stuff and I mean, the merchandise going out of the warehouse is more, and the store manager's like, okay, I'm going to take a store out today, so I'm not hitting all of them tomorrow. Like, I don't want to break. I'm like, that's fine. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
But I'm noticing that novelties, lingerie, stuff that to me says a little bit more celebrations versus just regular sex and masturbation, stuff like that.
Yep.
When I see these extras thrown in, I know that people are celebrating.
That's cool.
And so it's just fun because people are like, I love your greeting cards, and I got this, and they still want it. And I'm also wondering too, and I don't know if you, and I've been poking around the internet looking for stories. There's a lot of people want their privacy still.
Okay. And
I'm noticing that folks are coming in and doing a little more shopping, and it's like they're asking, how does this show up on the credit card? What's going on? Stuff like that.
Okay.
Or they're paying for some things in cash and doing a couple different things because, I don't keep anybody's information. I mean, I've got a newsletter, which, mind you, I haven't written in a year, but, when I get to it, but I don't collect anything. I could. There's ways of doing it. I don't.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are. I have no idea what they are. I pay no attention to that whatsoever.
Yep.
Never have. Haven't done it. We're almost 40 years. Don't pay attention. So I'm just wondering if, because there seems to be a story about this privacy issue or that privacy issue or the fact that a doorbell app, people can learn from that. I mean, everything that has an app, everything that tracks you, yep. I'm wondering if I don't track you. So I'm wondering, part of me wonders if folks are like pulling back from everything has to be bought online. I mean, and even some of my suppliers are no longer allowing their merchandise on Amazon.
Well, that's good.
Because, have you ever seen like storage wars and stuff like that where people bid on like storage lockers and crap like that?
Yeah.
Do you know that Amazon does certain things? You return something that you didn't want, that was wrong or broken or something on Amazon, right? Mm-hmm. It's too much work for them to send it back or do something. They throw it in a big bin. people buy those bins hoping that there's something good in there they can sell.
Really?
So you honestly, yeah, and so there's that. And so I have so many, almost all of the major companies that I buy from now say you are not allowed to sell our products on Amazon.
I don't blame
because
them.
they have, it's a way to deal with piracy
Yep.
and fake products and stuff like that.
Yep.
And I'm wondering if people are beginning to really figure out that if they want the appropriate, if they really want this toy, this sexual health product, you really truly have got to go to a trusted brick and mortar or their website. Because I don't sell on Amazon because let's say that I've got the WeVibe and I send 12 WeVibes to Amazon, they throw them in bin. Well, somebody else who's unscrupulous could send 12 fake ones.
Yep.
And they just pull out of the bin.
Yeah.
They don't know which one it is.
Yeah.
And so it's really, and so a part of me is just sort of wondering if folks are just pulling back just a little bit on some items. Because, I mean, it's hard to like fake Bounty paper towel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I can see staples and certain things like that. That seems to be a perfectly reasonable thing to have delivered to your house. Mm-hmm. But other things, I think people still are beginning to like, but how do I know it's the real thing?
Yeah.
How do I know it's not fake?
Yeah.
Because people are coming in asking for this, doing that. They've got questions.
Yeah.
Do you think the random seller that just happens to have something for you don't know where the hell that came from?
Yeah.
So, sorry, it's just a little thing that I thought about, and I meant to bring it up to send it to you early, and I completely forgot because last week and a whole bunch of other weeks, I've been completely overwhelmed by the new phone system, which I think I'm beginning to figure out.
Oh, good. Mm-hmm. No, I hate getting new technology. I mean, and anytime I have to learn something new, I get a little crabby.
So I just had that pop into my head.
No, actually, it's interesting information that people that are not in retailing like you and the fantasy gifts chain, we don't know this stuff. And I think it's good consumer education. So thank you.
And it's not just, honestly, it's not just personal and sexual health toys. It's almost anything.
Yeah.
It makes sense to buy it directly from the manufacturer or from a trusted brick and mortar who has it if you really want to make sure you're not getting a counterfeit product.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Sounds good. Florida man. We're going to start out with Florida man. Because,
I just pulled this. Oh, okay, didn't.
You're all right?
I thought I pulled the connection. Well, I'm sitting on like 12 fucking feet of cord.
I know. We really had to get a new cord.
I bought a smaller cord for Kelly, but I still have this massive cord. Well, it's like I could go all the way over there. I could be like on the other side
into the next office if you wanted. Yeah, you could. This Florida man was arrested for alleged driving under influence, told police that he was smoking marijuana to prepare for the coming of Jesus.
Honestly, if Jesus was around, I think Jesus would probably like some pop brownies.
Well, he drank wine.
He drank, yeah.
So, they found this guy parked in a vehicle which was still running, and they smelled alcohol, and then they did spot a half a bottle of Hennessy in there, and he got asked for his driver's license, and he handed them the vape, which he said had THC inside, and he said he was trying to get himself ready because Jesus was returning. So
honestly, I'm pretty sure for him, Jesus probably was. I was going through there.
Mm-hmm. Could have been. Mm-hmm. This next story terrifies me for a lot of reasons. Okay. And let me just preface it by saying I am someone who, when I was living in California, was sitting on the toilet when an earthquake happened.
Okay.
To feel a toilet underneath you when an earthquake... it was rather unsettling. So I'm just going to preface that. Okay.
I have never been anywhere near an earthquake.
Oh, so it's the freakiest thing ever. And it feels like the land is rolling underneath you. It's like nothing you've ever experienced. Well, in this particular case, a Florida homeowner got a very big shock. A lightning strike triggered a blast that exploded their toilet in their house. Okay, so imagine this. You're sitting there watching TV, thunderstorm comes in, and she said they heard this huge boom. loudest they'd ever heard. They smelled smoke. They looked outside, and the septic tank had been struck by lightning. What happened was...
That's right, because septic tanks have like a vent pipe. Right? Okay. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Because I had to think about that for a second. Because my parents had a house that had a septic tank once, but I've never had one.
So get this. Mm-hmm. The tank sent methane gas backwards up into the house, and it blew their toilet completely apart. Now, all kidding aside, they said, thank God nobody was in there, because it would have been...
They probably... would have died from blood loss.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because,
porcelain shards and, toilet shrapnel. I mean, it's not funny, but it's like, thank God that now you think it's like, oh my God.
As long as no one is hurt, funnier in hell.
Yes.
That's it. Anyone hurt? No. Funnier in hell.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. My husband has a t-shirt that says it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt, and then it's hilarious.
Well, it depends. Yeah,
it's kind of funny.
Yeah, especially if the words "here, hold my beer" was anywhere.
Oh, and it's usually involved.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw this, but I saw this picture, and oh my God, I just had to bring this up because seriously. So this woman, she runs a fishing company it's up in like Washington or somewhere. No, Seattle area. Mm-hmm. Her name is Jamie Biseglia. She did not win the fishing contest. It was a fishing derby. And so she said, well, I think I'll try to get into this unusual photo contest. So somebody in her party had just caught an octopus. So she yanked it off the hook and planted it on her head and posed for the camera. Except the octopus was not happy about it. No. It got hold of her and bit on her twice. And it was
sharp little beaks. They are not. I mean, they can be nasty little critters.
Oh yeah, they're like a prong. It was like a prong, she said, and it was unbelievable pain. And they finally got it off, and she didn't get medical attention for 2 days. She said she's still hurting. She's on 3 different antibiotics. Swelling can come and go for months. And she goes, I'll never do it again. It was not a good idea. And all this was about $100 prize and bragging rights. But I saw the picture of the thing on her face. Oh, no. What the fuck were you thinking?
There are many animals out there that you don't think are all that smart. From what I understand, octopus are for their size and brain size and all the stuff they know, they are not dumb critters. Mm-mm. So, no. Okay. Yeah, I was having nothing.
Obviously, this was smarter than the person. So in this case,
yeah. What I saw the other day on the video, God, this is going to be a couple of weeks ago now. It happened right here in Minnesota. The video of the eagle that someone thought was injured in the St. Croix River, but what it really had was this massive muskie, and it was sort of it had the muskie in its talons, and it was sort of like waiting, like it was using its wings to push along the top of the water.
Okay, got
it. And then it dragged this damn huge ass muskie out of the river. And then and someone was going by. I thought that they thought it was the eagle was hurt, and they had their camera out trying to figure out what to do. And then they realized what was really happening.
Oh yeah,
huge effing fish. I have to admit, I am a sucker for a good animal video.
Oh yeah, me too. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Although,
so I'm sure it's made the rounds. It was local here, and by the time we get this all taken care of, you folks may have heard it. If not, I'll have to search around and tell Megan about it.
Well, I did not get video of this, but I can tell you what happened to me and my husband. We were taking a stroll in Northeast Minneapolis on University Avenue, which if you're a local, that's a busy street. Mm-hmm. And we're walking along, and out of nowhere, a bald eagle came from behind us, swooped down, literally from, 15 feet away, swooped down, picked up a squirrel, and took off on a city street. And we stood there for like 5 minutes going, wow.
Okay. Office is in the southwest suburbs area, right? Yeah. I see eagles all the time.
Yeah.
These things, when I was a child, were almost extinct.
Yeah.
I will always be fascinated by an eagle sighting.
Me too.
I cannot not.
They're so amazing. Mm-hmm. They're so amazing.
So many around here. It was just, yeah.
Yeah, we're super lucky here because they hang out in Minnesota.
Yeah.
A Louisiana woman was caught with meth hidden inside her vagina, said she didn't know where they came from.
There's another thing not to put in your vagina. Don't put garlic.
We've talked about that.
Don't put any jade stones up there. You don't need to do. You don't need to do any extra douching. And let's add right onto the list things not to put into your body would be meth.
Okay, I'll definitely make a note. 23-year-old Ashley Rolland was accused of stealing $5,000 from a man she'd been staying with, and he also said, she took the cash, and they think that it was his as well, the meth. She is out actually on bond. No idea what happened to the meth, but how do you not know how it got there? Because that is something memorable.
That would be that'd be a little tough. Although there was just a case in Minnesota that got tossed out because someone was drugged, was sedated against their will to have a baggie of stuff removed from their anus. Because the judge is like, eventually it was going to come out.
Yeah. Did they win?
Yeah. A conviction was thrown out because the evidence shouldn't have been that way. And I can sort of get there were less invasive ways to go about this.
Yeah.
It was going to come out.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. Love Honey. They're a very busy company.
Yeah, it's a British company that is sort of a manufacturer. I think they do have some stores. I lost track a little bit of what's going through there, but they've become especially in Great Britain and in Western Europe, sort of like some of the larger companies, here.
Yep. Yep. Well, they are doing mood cock rings now. It's pretty cool. So there's a kit and different things, different products they're doing it. So they've got nipple suckers. Those are color changing. And those are really cool. But the line is called Color Play. And so they turn pink, green, and purple as you get them, in action. I
will have to ask, see if anything like that's made it over here now, because it really is fascinating. Because we'll hear about, there's a company, I think a lot of the times it has to do with probably copyright and different laws. There's a company in Australia that makes things that they can never sell here.
Right.
And stuff like that. Themed dildos and stuff like that. Maybe there's Disney lawyers down in Australia, but that stuff's not coming over here. It's never going to make it through customs.
Right.
And so there's a very good chance, I don't know who owns, Mood Ring and stuff like that. Oh, speaking of, we have, let's say, remember a couple of shows ago I was talking about fake merchandise and all that sort of stuff and making sure it's going through there. Fantasy gifts. Let's say we get something in and the packaging is really crappy, but the toy inside, something got messed up in shipping, but the toy is still good. The item is still good. We will take it out of the packaging. We'll put it in a bag, and we have a little header called Naked Toys. Because it's out of the packaging. That's what we call it, Naked Toys.
That's great.
And Sarah created Mr. Vibe and Mrs. Vibe, and it's on there, and it's sort of fun. It's going through there. I got in the mail the other day the renewal for the state trademark for it. So we get to, so this January is going to be Mr. and Mrs. Vibes. They're going to be their 10-year anniversary.
Oh, congratulations.
And I just giggled over that because I'm like, was that 10? I mean, I swear to God it was last week. I mean, not next week, but you know what I mean? I cannot believe that 10 years have gone by.
Yeah.
And for this particular, thing that we came, that Sarah came up and stuff like that. And it was like, oh my God.
So did they sell well?
Yeah, because I mean, it's never a returned item or anything. The only reason it's in that bag is that the packaging, when it got shipped to us, was mangled.
Okay.
And the item is still good. And sometimes then the companies, they can't get us new packaging. So they send okay, just keep that. We'll send you the new toy. But I put it, if it's a functional toy, it gets in a bag, it gets a header, the instructions, everything gets in there. And you can see it in our
so are
dump
they
ins.
Discounted? Or?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, they do. Tara does mark them down depending on what it is and it's going through there.
Oh, cool.
But we needed to come up with something, and we decided to call them Naked Toys.
That's fantastic. Well, the Color Play set. So look for those and all of that. So, hey, by the way, you sent an article over, and I was wondering if you could elaborate on it, that they've got a chlamydia vaccine that they've developed, and they're saying it's showing some early signs of success.
I saw the headline on this. It's one of those things I think I talked about it a couple of shows ago. I was on a crap ton of prednisone, which keeps me awake at night.
Yep.
So I start surfing the web, and I found a bunch of sites, and this really caught my eye. And I was really excited about it because you can have chlamydia and not know it.
Yep.
It is so easy, especially in women, that you can have this, and it can cause so many problems with infertility and all these sort of things. So if you're in at a doctor and they ask you, do you need some STD testing, which actually I was just at my gyno when they asked, sort of stuff, say yes, because you may not know you've got it. And if you certainly do not want to not know you get it in your teens, early 20s, and then you're in your late 20s and early 30s attempting to conceive. And then you find this out.
Right.
And the dog is going after my feet.
Oh, we knew it was going to happen. Fred the studio dog's indulging in his fetish.
So when I was reading this article, I was just very thrilled that it looks really good that there could possibly be a vaccine for this, because it is so difficult. I mean, you can have no symptoms. The person that has it, no symptoms. You get it, there's no symptoms. I mean, to have something like that can be so devastating to someone's fertility and just not know. And people are still, very, very, they're still very shy about talking about, and they shouldn't be about, sexually transmitted diseases.
Well, they're stigmatized still.
Stigmatized still, yeah. So it would be lovely. It's nice because the HPV vaccine slowly growing and for young women and young men.
Yep.
Because it can stop several cancers.
Yeah.
And this is spectacular. And it also can screw with your fertility.
Right. Well, the public service announcement campaign for that is so good. Have you seen the ones with the kids?
Bits and pieces.
And they like regress them in age. It's a very well thought out and impactful, I think, campaign. So very nice job on that. And I hope parents will get over themselves and, think
why would you not?
pragmatically.
Yeah, stop being oogie about that. Most people have it. Why would you not protect your child?
Exactly.
I mean, and I'm not even going to get into the anti-vaxxer morons. You realize that a flight attendant just died
from measles.
From measles?
Yeah.
Fuckers. Sorry,
Yeah, I know. I know. It's really quite scary.
Yeah, I have a really difficult time with that sort of ignorance.
Oh, for sure. So you and I talk about, body positivity, and we talk about acceptance and things like that. And this story is kind of interesting. There's an attorney that's representing a Louisiana man who's charged with murder, asked for jurors who could overlook his client's face tattoos because they include skull horns and a set of teeth. So 29-year-old William Bottoms Jr. is faced with 2 counts of second-degree murder stemming from the deaths of 2 men 2 years ago. They were found shot in the head in the backseat of a car. And, you and I have talked about no tattoos on face and hands, the things that people are going to see. Now,
but so many people have tattoos now. I mean, I was going through there. I mean, a lot of, my daughter has some ideas for them, and I'm like, that's fine. I'm not going to say no. Wait a little bit. You want to be, it's going through there. I actually came up with I'm actually contemplating my 3rd tattoo. I've got an idea on sort of in my head, and I've got,
oh, cool.
But I can sort of understand where the lawyer is going with this because, there are actually tattoo artists out there that won't do hands and face.
Right.
Because it's going through there. And it does, certain tattoos do carry a stigma.
Right.
But to some extent, though, so many people have tattoos.
Yeah, but the sort of allusion to devil is kind of hard. And his girlfriend's going to testify against him. She told investigators that she, the accused, and the two now dead men did drugs together before the suspect became paranoid and killed the two.
I don't think they need to worry about the tattoos if they got that.
Yeah. Well, so many things. Okay, so we were talking about people maybe backing off a little and trying to reclaim some privacy. Well, Amazon smart speakers are being commandeered by people as part of their kinky sex games. So vibrators and other sex toys are now hooking up to Alexa, the AI assistant, so they can now shout commands at their dildos. So here's some of the highlights. So Alexa's virtual assistant can also work with the LoveSense series of smart sex toys, which give you more control, than ever before. They can already be controlled by remote app, but now Alexa voice commands can activate those too. That's one.
I ran across something the other day where Alexa and a couple of other things also reacts to what this is, the Wait, Don't Tell Me podcast, which absolutely could, where with the zipper. The Alexa will turn on and start listening when they hear a zipper.
Great.
I don't have any of these. I honestly, once again, let's say that you have physical limitations. I can see where having voice commands on something would be spectacular. I am fairly able-bodied. I really have a difficult time trying to figure out why I would need any of this.
Yeah.
I can change the thermostat. I can go turn off a lamp. I have to admit, I would like. I sometimes I forget to shut my garage door, and then I'm already upstairs, and I got to haul my ass all the way downstairs. I have to admit that's one thing. Now that I'm blathering, because this is what I do,
right?
I can think about. But I'm also perfectly capable of going downstairs because I'm the doofus that didn't shut the garage door and shutting the garage door.
Sure.
But I just some of all this new text, I don't. Oh God, I sound like an old lady. No. But I don't really understand the point of some of it.
Well,
the diaper things weeks ago when we talked about that,
smart diapers?
It made a hell of a lot more sense to me for someone who was physically bound to a wheelchair or something like that than it did to your toddler.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, I get that.
I don't need to involve technology. Like, for example, if you have a Hush butt plug, I don't need to say, Alexa, make me smile with Hush. I can just turn the butt plug on.
Yeah.
I'm
perfectly capable. Yeah.
Yeah.
I can make the toy work.
Yeah. So there is one brothel.
Although, I suppose, well, if you have like that $15,000 doll, wouldn't it be just like built right into that? Stuff like that.
Sure, could be. The Amazon Echo is powering a fully automated sex tape room. So this is at Sherry's Ranch. They've decked out this room with smart home tech, letting people create their own smut films using voice control. So, Alexa, begin the porn star experience. And then all that stuff. Okay. But then there's another one. This one is funny. A British guy turned his Alexa into a dominatrix. This one makes me laugh really hard. Amateur engineer Gary, he keeps his surname anonymous, hooked up an Amazon Echo Dot speaker to an electrified dog collar. Mistress Alexa shocks the wearer's genitals when users give the phrase, Alexa, punish. Kind of funny. And then Alexa will ask, has the slut been naughty? And they can say no, yes, or extremely.
Once again, the person has a buzzer or something.
I know.
I mean, I suppose if you wanted to be like, kinky when you're not in the same country or something.
Geek sucks. Yes, I don't know.
Then again, sometimes people just like new toys. It's not my thing, but it's other people's things. But obviously, the privacy concerns on something like this would just skeeve me out.
Oh, yeah. Indeed.
I really don't, I mean, someone, the other day, I'm just flipping through the news or something, and someone managed to, within minutes, unlock, there was an apartment building that all had electronic locks now and stuff like that. Within minutes, someone had unlocked every damn door in the apartment.
I don't like that.
No. I mean, I mean, some of this stuff, if you want to opt in, that's fine. But, yeah, honestly, if I had a place like that, that sucker would break every fucking day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took just minutes for someone to unlock every damn door in the apartment building.
Nope. Mm-hmm. Have you seen any of the stories about the hashtag cellulite? It's CELLU and then capital LIT. Have you heard about it?
No, I'm going to...
Long story short, Iskra Lawrence is, this is her contribution to the body positivity movement. She's a model. She's 28. And she does unretouched ad campaigns, but she's also putting pictures of herself on Instagram with that hashtag. And people are joining in. Over 18,000 women have shared. They did try to shut it down, but then they went. They bowed to pressure to put it back up.
So this was because Instagram shut down WeVibe site the other couple weeks ago or something like that. And so I went over and I said, Instagram, there's a problem. I can't find my favorite site. So I don't know if they got their site back. I haven't checked or I haven't seen any emails. Sake. But the hypocrisy of, I mean, if you can block a site. Mm-hmm. If I don't want to see a site, you can block a site.
Right.
It doesn't have,
I don't need a tech company telling me what I can see.
Yeah. It's going through there, which is why, which is a very simple, which is why not only does there need to be to some extent, now mind you, Instagram is a private company, but they function out in the real, almost like a utility. So it's because, once again, laws have not caught up with that. But I do think that it, should there be, sites on there advocating, shooting of people or women or anything like that? No. But the fact that you can find all that, but you can't find sexual health stuff. Mm-hmm. Once again, violence seems to be perfectly fine, but sex, oh my God, the downfall of civilization.
I know.
Drives me insane.
Well, I saw, I was reading a story the other day where, and I can't remember if she was an actress or a comedian, but she was being blackmailed because she had taken a selfie that accidentally revealed part of her nipple, and she didn't realize it. But when she did, she took it down. But then all these people had taken screen grabs, and they were trying to extort money. So she put it back out there and said, "Here's the deal," and I loved it. She was like, "I'm not going to be told what to do or bullied by these jerks," and put the picture back out there and just said, knock it off. What assholes.
It's a nipple.
That's such bad juju. I can't even believe it. Speaking of juju, I'm not sure if this is a what goes around comes around thing or I don't know. But Monica Lewinsky is co-producing American Crime Story. It's the third season, and they're going to cover the impeachment of former President Bill Clinton.
Well,
What do you think?
Everybody gets to make a buck.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure who particularly cares anymore, judging by what path we've gone down to what's become acceptable now. Which would have brought down folks before. So I still like the fact that I know I've talked about this. Someone bitched about my window at one of the stores. So then I put one mannequin in a blue dress and another male mannequin in a suit and put a little beret on it. And then the person stopped complaining because honestly, my windows don't get more than PG. They just don't.
No.
I've always had. I mean, for what I could put in the window, I don't.
Yep.
There's no point.
Well, because you have enough trouble with municipalities and BS stupid little laws that you've decided to not push it.
It's also just too much damned work.
Right.
if I got to change the window all the time to this. In fact, I have pulled out almost all of my display windows. We got it. We used to have little platforms and all this stuff. And I got a table, a couple things on it, a mannequin, a plant. That's it.
Yep.
It's too much work.
Yep.
To constantly change this shit.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. No, I mean, so the thing about this, though, and she said that they're going to bring in the overlooked dimensions of the women who found themselves caught up in the scandal, and some of their voices is what they say that this is going to feature. And again, the one thing that I've always felt so bad about in this whole thing, I don't care how stupid she was. I don't care that she had a crush, whatever. Her whole entire life was colored by this. And I just am like, you're an idiot when you were her age. You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And the fact that this follows her everywhere that she goes, I think is so sad. Because it's
and she doesn't have enough power to some extent to work around it like other folks would. I'm actually quite surprised that she did not. Well, someone probably would have figured it out. But that she didn't change her name or something like that to get around from it. But then again, what went on there compared to what folks are being, accused of now? It's almost nothing. It's just things have changed a lot. And what is it, 20 years now?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, I should have brought this one up right along near the Alexa story we were just talking about, but there's a whistleblower story. Long story short, Apple employs these people to go through Siri transcripts because they're trying to improve the service, right? Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, one person that used to do this said, there's a lot of stuff that we shouldn't be hearing. Like we'd run across conversations between a patient and a doctor or different things. And they said, Siri could have been triggered by mistaking something that they said for, hey, Siri, or something else.
But how else are you going to figure out whether it's doing what it's supposed to do, though? I mean,
right.
You got to have like the human ears.
Yep.
I mean, you can't rely just on algorithms or something like that. I mean, because when folks did that, then they weren't catching things. And now that they've got live human beings trying to figure it out, now the people are mad at that. How are you supposed to figure this shit out?
Right. Well, it's called grading, Siri grading. And they're saying they've suspended it temporarily. And they said as part of future software updates, users will have the ability to choose to participate in the grading, which is good because most of the stuff was being triggered by accident. And there's a quote here. It says, too often we see that so-called smart assistants are in fact eavesdropping. And we see that they often collect and use people's personal information in ways that people don't know about and can't control. And that's the problem right there.
The reason I just don't have this stuff in my house. I mean, obviously I'd probably be pretty boring. I mean, the other night, I found some fun websites that we can look at for information, and then I said I was bored with that. And then I grabbed a cookbook from 1949, and the salad section with all sorts of aspects. I mean, this is what I'm doing. I'm giggling over a 1949 recipe that had like Jell-O and cottage cheese and a whole bunch of other stuff in it, and like 2 cups of mayonnaise. And I'm like, this is what I do at home. I read old cookbooks. Fine.
Sweet. This is kind of cool. The Smothers Brothers mark 50 years of being fired by CBS for resisting censorship. 50 years. Do you remember those guys, Tom and Dick Smothers?
I do remember, yeah.
They are 80 and 82, respectively. And they reunited recently for several appearances at the National Comedy Center in Jamestown, New York, and they received an honor. And, back in the day, basically, if you're too young or unfamiliar, they did political satire. This was at the time of the Vietnam War.
Yeah, spectacular
They
stuff.
were funnier than shit. And CBS pulled them, and he says, they were not allowed to use the phrase sex education, and they one time made a joke that someone was a known heterosexual. Well, that was just too racy. Can you even imagine? But they really, really went out there where, they were pioneers.
Yeah.
And good for them.
Funnier than hell is what they were.
Oh, God, yes. Well, and the one that was deadpan and then the other one.
I mean, when you run across clips, it holds up.
Oh, yeah. No, they're very talented guys. There's a study from the U.S. Department of Education, Miss Colleen, that says girls are reporting incidents of cyberbullying at a rate 3 times higher than boys. So, yeah.
I mean, really, even though that folks are doing, fewer, I think we talked about this,
last week.
Sexting and all that sort of stuff, that doesn't mean they're not still being assholes.
Oh, yeah.
And, and honestly, stuff like that, bullying and words and that sort of stuff is classic tween and teenage girl stuff. I mean, they're not nearly,
Girls are rotten and mean. Mm-hmm. They are nasty.
Yeah.
I know it.
They may not be as physically hurting, folks and stuff like that. I mean, there was, hasn't been too many young women who've been shooting up people lately, but but they are just, but when it comes to, they can be very, very, stuff like that.
21% of middle and high school girls say they've been bullied online or by text, compared to 7% of boys. Mm-hmm. And this was
boys just get punched.
Yeah,
I don't agree. I probably should have giggled when I said that. It all sucks, and that was inappropriate.
This came from the National Crime Victimization Survey that included 95,000 households. It's a pretty significant sample.
I like a good sample. See, that's a good sample. When there's we talked to 220 people.
And that means what?
Yeah.
Exactly. This is kind of interesting right here. The statistics indicate that white students are cyberbullied slightly more, 17% of white, 13% for Hispanic, and 12% for African Americans. Mm-hmm. So there's some sort of a cultural...
And the Hispanic is... It's almost a useless term at this point, too, because honestly, Spain, that's different than someone who might, if you come from a Spanish-speaking country over here, you could not have any Spanish in you at all. But
yeah, it should be Latino or Latina.
Latinx. They put actually an X on the end to try and, take the gender out, Latinx or Latino. I'm not sure how you pronounce it.
I wonder how that's going to affect the Romance languages, which genderize objects. Never even thought about that.
They're slowly they're poking around at it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's going to be hard because
I have to admit it, because it sucked to learn that. I mean, I sucked at learning a new language because I sucked at learning my own language. So when you say it's like this in English, I'm like, blink, blink, blink. But the massive, and then there's like a whole bunch of stuff that I just didn't get when I was trying to learn Spanish. I can pick out enough verbs and nouns to sort of know where a conversation is, but but you cannot get me to speak it. I am such a weenie and stuff like that. It's been years. I've completely given up. Mm-hmm.
I love Spanish. Mm-hmm. So if I have to relearn it, I'm going to be upset. Mm-hmm. Okay. We leave you today with a very cool story. So this couple, now named Kelly and Matt Cameron, they're teachers, and they're from Florida, and they decided that instead of wedding gifts, because they said we didn't need anything, they did kind of an angel tree idea in which each guest was given a description of children that they'd be buying for. So it was for school supplies for the kids that can afford them. So they got more than 70 backpacks full of school supplies, uniforms, articles of clothing, water bottles, and even cleaning supplies. They donated them to a school in Tampa with an extremely high poverty rate. Is that so cool?
That is a couple that has a very good chance of making it, because obviously there is one hell of a discussion that the two of the communication that they had.
Yeah.
So I bet they do all this and then they go have really good sex.
Well, I wish them the best in their life and health, happiness, and all that good stuff, because they're clearly awesome people. So congratulations to the Camerons.
Sounds lovely.